Hello Fancy Talk Show community, welcome to Fancy Talk Show, and today we are doing an amazing topic that we have never handled. We are doing something about our children, and with us is an amazing guest, and I would like him to say hi to us and tell us what he does to our kids and also in helping us in our parenting journey. Hi Eliud.
Hello.
Hi, it's good to have you on the show. Karibu sana. And we'd like you to say hi to our viewers and tell them what you do.
All right. My name is Eliud Ngugi, and I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm also the founder, Newness Counseling Organization, and my focus is on mental health, counseling, mindset, name it. Anything to do with mind, anything to do with psychology, anything to do with behavior, you find me there.
Amazing.
So I like especially interacting with the teenagers and kids because as the Bible says, kama mtakuwa kama watoto, hamtakuwa na stress. Okay, I said me for exactly, but it's something related to that. But I like interacting with especially kids, teenagers, and even adults. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So today you want to teach us about, dealing with teenage crisis, identity crisis, sorry.
Yes.
And as we know, identity crisis in teenage is a big thing because these are children who are transiting from, childhood to adulthood, and so many changes in between take place, and maybe they feel lost and sometimes they feel confused, and in the process so many things can happen. So we would like maybe you first by defining what is identity crisis in teenage. Yes.
So on a bigger age, everybody goes through crisis. And especially when you talk about identity.
Yes.
But now today we are focusing on teenagers. But at any level in your life, you go through an identity crisis.
Yes.
Because when you are coming out of one level, getting into another level, then definitely you have to identify the situation and the circumstances so that you can be able to know how well to get into the situation that you are getting into.
Okay.
So when you're talking about teenagers, these are people who are youngsters who are walking out of childhood and now they are getting into adulthood.
Yes.
Kind of, not yet into adulthood, but now they are at that transition stage. So a lot is happening definitely in their bodies, and even that which is not seen is happening because emotionally something is happening. Psychologically, something is happening.
Okay.
And now at the psychological level is where now we have the identity. At this level, this child is trying to ask themselves, who am I? What lines with me? What do I like? What do I love? Who should I interact with? Who should I not? What should I wear? What should I not?
Yeah. Yeah.
How should I talk? How should I not? So when this child, let me call them kids because they are still kids. When this child is at this level, whereby they're in a dilemma, they don't know whether to follow this route or this other. And at this particular moment, they are now trying also to know exactly who they are. Unfortunately, they are confused because they are told that now when you are a teenager, you need to know your purpose.
Yeah.
You need to know what you want to do with your life. And that's a very big mistake because when you are telling a 15-year-old to know what they want to do with their life, first of all, make them understand exactly what life is. Because first of all, they have the long picture of what life is, how we should live, how we should interact, how we should, do things in life.
Yeah.
So when now this child is at this level and there's a lot of comparison.
Yeah.
Anaona when you want to follow this direction, the others who are going this route, and now I don't know which route to take, which direction to take. So this child is going to be confused. So when we are talking about identity crisis, this is where now a teenager is trying to identify where they belong.
Yeah.
Where do I belong with friends? Where do I belong with dressing? Where do I belong with everything that allows me? Most of the times, most parents are going to encounter a lot of resistance. It is where unasikia wazazi wengi wakisema I have not brought you up like this.
Like this.
Hii tabia iko kwa familia yetu.
Where are you picking this from?
Hii umetoa wapi?
Yeah.
Because the parent is unable to come to the level of the child let me say the child, the teenager, let me use the word teenager. The parent is not able to come to the level of the teenager. Because most parents, the mistake they do is that they parent their teenagers as parents, instead of parenting their teenagers as teenagers.
So as a result, we create a war inside these teenagers.
Exactly. And you're going to fight. That's now where especially the crisis is coming from. Because what I want as a parent is not what the teenager wants.
Yeah.
The teenager wants to stay at home on Sunday. I want you to go to church.
Yeah.
The teenager wants to watch this, that movie. No. We are watching the news.
I want to dictate what they will watch.
Yes. I want you to dress like this. No, that's not what the teenager wants. So the parent is not able to understand that this child is trying now to identify who they are. And they don't want to be forced into an identity which they are not ready to take up.
Yeah.
I want to get into this because I feel it's what defines who I am. I want to do this because I feel this is what defines me better at the moment. So now the parent is trying to force the child to do what they want, but not what the child wants. You know? So now the child now is confused. I don't know whether I should do what I want, or I should do what my mother wants, or what my father wants.
Yeah.
So now this form of crisis now makes this child confused. And now they are not able to exactly know where they belong, who they should be with. And apparently now in the present parenting times, parents are rarely there for their kids. So this child is struggling by him or herself to know where he belongs or where she belongs. Then most likely this child is going to go astray because hakuna mtu wa kumguide.
Wow, that is so tragic.
Yes.
And maybe now, because you have really, explained what identity crisis is in these teenagers, we could check on causes and symptoms of identity crisis. What dictates the identity of a teenager?
Most of the times, it has to do with physical.
Physical surroundings or?
No, the physical appearance.
Okay.
Because every form of identity is subjected to self.
Yeah.
To the teenager himself or herself.
Okay.
So they are trying to identify themselves. For as long as the environment is involved and it also plays a part, so this child is also trying to now identify themselves, especially when it comes to looks.
Yeah.
At some point, there are teenagers who come to realize that at this point something is wrong, that something is not right. The society has told me that I should behave like this, or I should do this, but I feel that's not what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Because a child who does exactly what the society says or the parent says, there is no crisis, because this child is following the script, the parent's script. So ameambiwa unavaa hivi, anasema sawa.
Sawa.
Utaenda hivi, sawa. Utatembea na huyu, sawa. Utainteract na huyu, sawa. You see? So this child cannot have any crisis.
And
but there's a danger to that.
Exactly, that was my question.
Yes, there's a very big danger to that. Because if a teenager learns that I should do everything that my parents say without questioning, then you have created a human being who is going to become an adult, and they are going to follow orders from just anyone.
An yes kid.
Yes.
An yes person.
There's no.
Yeah.
All I know is, fanya hivi, yes.
Do.
Fanya hivi, sawa.
You
Fanya
never
hivi, sawa.
question.
Yes. And the biggest problem is that most parents have conditioned their teenagers that you should do that which makes me happy as your mom. Very big mistake. One day I interact with a friend of mine, and then she's making a call home. And then anaongea na house help anapatia kijana wake simu. And then she talks with the boy, and she's like, Brian, not really the name, but Brian, did you do what I asked you to do after school? Yes, mom, I did this, I did that. Good, I'm so happy. Do you see how you are making your mom happy?
Yeah.
And I was right there. The first mistake. Because if you condition your child that they should do that which makes you happy as a parent, then that's a very dangerous thing. Because this child is going to do everything that makes you happy. Mom wants me to do this course because it makes her happy, so I do it. Mom wants me to get married to this person, so it makes her happy, so I do it. And then that boy becomes the mama's boy. He has to call you to ask whether he should have sex with his wife or not. He has to call you to tell you that they want to buy a piece of land and he is not sure whether to do it, so mom, should I? My wife is telling me that we should have a second born. Mom, do you think it's a good idea? Now that's what you are created. Because this child believes that that which I do must make my mom happy.
But then, Eliud, I'm wondering, then where do we draw the line between guiding the child and also letting the child be? Because now, if again I allow these kids to do whatever they want to do, don't you think I'll be breeding somebody also who is not going to be, you know, a good person?
The line between guiding and letting be is very thin, but it has to be guided by the right mindset. The biggest problem is this, that when most parents give birth to the kids, they think, oh, this one is mine. This is my property, you know. So I have to do with it whatever I want. So it is going to go to the school I want, it's going to do the course I want, it's going to behave as I say. So as a parent, you're trying to shape a child to become what you want.
To be a mini you.
Yes, not what the child is supposed to become. You're very busy shaping a child to become what you want, what you think the child should become. But when a child is born as a full package. The potential is in the child, not ahead of the child. And so most parents are trying to help their teenagers to have a better future, somewhere ahead of the child. But the reality is that the future is in the child. Like, your future is not ahead of you, your future is where you are.
Me.
Yes. So when now this parent now is struggling to force what they want the child to become, and at the same time, the child feels there is the person I was born to become, then there is a crisis. Because there's a voice within the child saying, this is what you should become. And then there's another voice in the background of the parent saying, this is what I want you to become.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
And that's why parenting has become a very big challenge for most. That's why it's a challenge. Because we are so good at forcing kids to become what we want as parents, but not nurturing them to become what they are supposed to become.
What they're meant to be.
Most parents, here's what they are doing. You give birth to a child. Let's assume this child is a seed, and your child is an avocado seed. So give birth to an avocado seed, and then you force the avocado to grow onions somewhere along the way. You give birth to a mango seed as a child, and then you force this mango seed to bear fruits of, onions or oranges.
Yeah.
That's what most parents are doing. Because even before this child was born, you had already made up your mind. In my family, I'm going to have 5 kids. One must become a doctor, another one an engineer, another one a lawyer, another one this, another one that.
Yeah.
So even before they are born, you have already decided
what you want them to be.
What you want them to be. A very big mistake, and they are really going to disappoint you. Because there's something within them telling them, this is why you are here. But you as a parent as well, you're trying to force this child to become what you want. And unfortunately, most people don't just try to force what they want their kids to become. Most parents want to force kids to achieve goals they failed to achieve as parents.
So you're not even being fair to these kids.
It's not even a question of being fair. It's even the question of creating a disaster. Because as a parent, you wanted to become a doctor, and then you got pregnant during the first semester of your university, and you dropped out, and then you vow to yourself and say that there must be a doctor in my family.
Yeah.
So you're forcing your child to achieve the goal you failed to achieve. So is the child living their life or your life?
My life.
Why did you give birth to a child to live your life, and you have failed to live yours to begin with? That's where the bigger problem is coming in.
Yeah.
That the reason why this child is having a crisis is because there's something in them which is trying to shine. There's a right in them which is trying to service, and then there's something else which is trying to suppress what is trying to service.
Yeah.
That's where the crisis is. That's why I told you, if a teenager is following everything that the parents say, then there cannot be crisis.
Okay.
You see? So if parents allowed kids to be, I'll get to that point. If parents allowed kids to be what they want, there would be no crisis. You want to step into the shoes of the teenager and ask the teenager now, why are we fighting? We are fighting because you are dressing like this. So why do you think you should dress like that? Let's begin from that point. So why do you feel that it's very important for you to dress like this? The child is going to sit down and you're going to have a conversation. And then from the conversation, you're going to guide this child. And you're going to tell them now, the danger of wearing as you wish, the miniskirts you want, the short dresses you want, the clothes that you are wearing and then they are exposing you all over. These are the dangers.
So we should normalize having, you know, a communication and telling them whatever you are choosing, this could be the consequences. And whatever I'm also telling you, this could, you have a conversation so that you are on a common ground. You're in a common ground.
So many parents are good at what, but they never concern themselves with why. They're so good at telling kids, do this, this is what I want you to do, that is what I want you to do, but they never tell the child why I want you to do. Because why is more important than what. This child needs to understand, Mom, why are you telling me nisiende nikishikwa mkono kwa barabara na venye na feel vizuri?
Yeah.
Why? I need, and that's why you find most teenagers actually do what parents tell them not to do.
Because their curiosity
of course
is high.
You just told me not ati nisiende kushikwa na kijana lakini huku niambia kwa nini.
Yeah.
So you left me hanging. So I want to find out for myself why. As a man, as a young man, you told me not to use drugs. You told me usivuta bangi, sijui usifanya nini. But I never really got into understanding exactly why I shouldn't. So then I'm going into there, into this thing to find out why.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
So you're telling me wacha kuvalia miniskirts. No, you didn't tell me exactly why. So I want to find out why.
Why I should not do this and do this.
That's why most of them are doing what the parents don't want. And most parents, another mistake they are making is that they think that their life experiences can be used as a lesson to their kids' life experiences. You cannot apply your life lessons to your child's life or experience.
Path.
Of course. You were born in 19 what? This kaka kamezaliwa hapa na COVID. So ile story tu anaelewa yeye ni COVID.
Yeah.
Waanza kumwambia oh sijui kulikuwa na bomu sijui 1998, sijui kulikuwa na jaa lini, anashangaa wewe nini nakusumbua.
What
are you talking about?
I cannot relate.
Yes, I can't. You see? Yeah. So yes, it's true that you've had a significant life experience as a parent, but that does not graduate you to become a guru to your child.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
There's a child who was being asked why they compare themselves as students in a class. And the child said, you know, we want to see who is better than the other. Okay. But in that class, who is better than the other? So the one who was asking the question, but you see the teacher in the class is better than you. But the child said this, academically he is. Very smart. That yes, in that class, the teacher is better than us, but only academically. Because most likely that guy is using drugs.
Yeah.
Personally, we were educated by teachers alikuwa anavuta bangi pale kwa kona na sigara na nini.
Is trying to evaluate the teacher in all aspects.
Exactly.
That he knows.
Yes. And that is the same thing that is happening in the family. It's not only happening in the society level. It's happening in the family. You as a mother, you are telling your child wacha kushikwa na vijana huko nje, lakini wewe unaigiaga ukiwa mlevi usiku na umeshikiliwa na wanaume wawili. Lakini wewe unataka utaki hata akuwe na mmoja. Sio ni vivu hata uko nayo mzazi.
Sure. So we have seen, as we we revert back to the causes and symptoms. So one of the things that you have told us is our parenting style.
Yes.
So can we go to the next one, maybe?
Yes.
A cause or a symptom.
A cause or a symptom. So number one cause we have said is now this issue of I want you to do this as a child, and the as a child I wanted to do this, and the parent want this. So the crisis now, the misunderstanding.
Yes.
Now we also have now the issue of social media use. This child is on Facebook, and then realizes that my friend looks cuter than me.
Yeah.
So I think I should wear some makeup. I think I should dress like this.
Yeah.
Because of social media influence. And this media influence is not only coming from TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. It's coming from the TV you are all seated there watching. So they bring that advert of somebody, dark marks, what, those things. And then your child realizes, niko na kamoja hapa.
Niko mweusi, I should be brown.
Yes. And then the mother is against that.
Yeah.
And then the girl ako kwa streets anapatana na jamaa wa pikipiki. And then anamwambia, kwanza nitakununulia ile mafuta ina advertise. Utaninunulia hiyo? Sawa.
And the girl already is at war.
Yes.
She wants to look in a certain way.
Of course. And here is somebody who is offering that. So at any cost, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Yeah. You see? So social media and parents need to understand that you need to regulate the consumption of the content that your child is being exposed to in the social media. Unapata mzazi amenunulia mtoto simu, ametoka nyumbani ameacha wifi kwa nyumba. There's no, hata hajaenda kwa Google aweke zile parental control whatever settings. Na ametoka tu ameenda na ako sawa. Na anasema ni mzazi. That's a very big crisis. Because huyu mtoto the whole day ameshida akifanya nini? You see? Even when we are talking about media, there's one thing that really came to my attention. I had I think a 9-year-old who was addicted to pornography and masturbation. How? 9 years.
Where?
When he was 7 and something, I think he was in, I don't know whether in class 2 or class 3, I don't know, I'm not sure the level, but I think I got class 2 or class 3. So anasomea a group of schools, so they are doing computers.
Yeah.
So when they were doing computers, kwa kitabu ya computer ilikuwa imeandikwa, only open the sites in your computer that the teacher tells you to open. Don't open sites such as pornographic sites.
So again, they've created a curiosity.
So yes, so this child started, na mwalimu haja amesoma tu hivyo na akawaambia hivyo, but the teacher never expounded on saying why you should not, blah blah blah, what exactly it is. So this child was curious. What is pornographic sites? Hizi vitu tunaambiwa tusifungue ni nini? So nyumbani kuna wifi, niko na simu. So 9-year-old watching pornography, doing masturbation.
Oh no.
But when the parent, wakati mzazi alisikia hivyo, actually the mother alistuka. But I told her,
because now the parent is wondering, I've never like just to cut you short, there is personally, I don't like, my kids have tablets that have parental controls. But then I realize, like, when guests come into our house or when they interact with somebody, they always want to borrow the adult's phone. Okay, their phones don't have the phone that I bought them. It doesn't have internet. The phone, it's just like a button phone.
Yes.
But now they have the tablets. But then when you give them those phones, I'm always curious to know what they are doing. You will see them downloading apps and all that, and you wonder, when did you even know about this? So what I have really strictly stuck on, no borrowing people's phone. Because you don't know even at the search engine what was these people doing last. So to me, I feel also that I could be protecting these children, but what about the next person? So I've told my children, no picking adults, including my house girls. Sitaki ukishika simu ya auntie. You have a landline.
Yes.
If you want to call with that one. If they are going outside, maybe they are having church engagements or other engagements, they have a phone with buttons, no internet. Their tablet, parental controls, because I really imagined so much can happen and their curiosity levels are on another. It's crazy.
And you see now, the major crisis is this, and this could be another symptom or cause of the identity crisis.
Yeah.
That at this age, they want to experiment with just anything.
Yeah.
They're at a stage where they want to taste everything.
Yeah.
I want to taste how this one tastes, another one, this other one, this other one. So they have a very high level of curiosity.
Yeah.
So if this child is not guided, they are going to explore anything, anyhow.
That comes their way.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you see now, the parent is now going to get surprised, you know. I'm surprised that my child is doing this. Why are you surprised? Sometimes I look at them and I'm like, why are you surprised? Uliacha wifi kwa nyumba, ukamnunulia simu, TV mnawatchigi vipindi zimeandikwa pale 18+, mkua mmeinua miguu kwa meza, mkua watatu hapo na popcorn na watoto, and you don't care. You know, people are just, you know, undressing and doing all manner of things and you are there relaxing. You are calling it a family movie, a family whatever.
Yeah.
From that now, because that TV, that program, and that's why it's called a program, a TV program. You know, sometimes I tell people that for the last 2 years I've not sat down to watch a TV.
Me and you
unless on selected programs, because personally I'm a host wa TV. Kuna show tunafanya na best yangu, so I only focus on that. Nimekuja kuwatch hii kipindi, nothing else, because they are called programs
to program you.
Of course, that's why it's a program,
so
because it's supposed to
kids,
program you.
The kid's mind.
Of course. That's why it is a program, because it is programming you, whether you like it or not. The fact that you are sitting down, looking at it, paying all your attention to it, it's programming you. But you can't really tell until something starts surfacing.
Yeah.
You see somebody watching news, and these days news is like horror. You know, this person has been killed, huyu amedungwa sijui meno, huyu mwingine amedungwa makwapa, sijui mwingine amefanywa.
Because personally, I realized there was so much going on the socials, matters of, abductions, killings.
Yes.
And then the images are just there. And I realized I'm being affected personally because I'm an empath. First of all, I start relating, how did this person, the process, the damage that, the mental damage before this person maybe died and all that. And I realized it's taking a toll on me. And I said, hey, Mimi, I will try to shut. Because actually unapata inaku affect, you can't even work properly. Unakaa hivi unaona ni kama unapata hizo images kwa kichwa. So it's no longer business as usual in your mind. You are not having this peaceful day. So I know time is a bit on a bit rushing. So maybe we can try to very fast finish up on the causes and symptoms if there's something you've not mentioned.
We have the issue of self-worth.
Yes.
Because a teenager is always questioning whether they are worthy.
Am I enough?
But the question that I always ask parents, why is a child, 15-year-old, questioning whether he or she is worthy? Because nobody has showed up to actually tell them that they are.
They are worthy.
That in the environment, there's enough evidence that they are not. So there's no parent who have showed up to tell this child that I just love you the way you are. Whether you get ease, whether you get this, you're still my child and I love you for that.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to disappoint me. Because so many parents are disappointed by their parents. And the moment you dare to show a child that you are disappointed in them, that's the head of it. This child is definitely going to question their worth.
Is it reversible? Maybe there's a parent watching and maybe they're feeling I made some of these mistakes to my child. Is it something we can reverse when maybe before the child is all grown? Maybe
on a different episode, we'll be talking about communication.
Okay.
But even when a child is old and you realize that there's some things that you did wrong, it's never too late to do the right thing.
Okay.
It's never too late.
There's hope.
There's always hope.
All right.
That's if you are willing to take the necessary steps. Just go to this child. If as a parent you even need to apologize.
Yeah.
The moment you identify, mimi kama mzazi, kuna kitu nilifanya nikames maisha ya mtoto wangu, go to them, tell them, I've just done some, flashbacks and all that. And I've come to realize that this thing that I did that somehow may have impacted your life negatively as it is today.
Yeah.
So first of all, I apologize for that.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to be part of your healing journey.
Yeah.
And then you take the necessary step. Kama ni therapy utampeleka. Kama maybe because there are so many kids who are living wishing that their parents would apologize for things they did to them. And sometimes parents are doing these things unconsciously. I'll tell you why on a different episode.
Okay.
But when we are talking about teenagers, these are very delicate human beings. At the face of, they can take in anything and everything. So you need to be very careful what is going in, because what is going in is what comes out.
Yeah.
You cannot wezieka uchafu kwa pipe halafu ile side ingine ati ugoje ati uchote maji safi.
Yeah.
No, the same uchafu imeingia, the same uchafu inatoka.
Okay.
So we need to be very careful about how we are interacting with the teenagers. Let us give them room to be themselves, guided. When you are driving a car,
yeah,
you are there to just hold the steering and guide the car. The car does not know where it's going.
Sure.
You're the one who do. Unaona? But again, you need to be very careful so that you can obey the rules that are followed by the car. You have to let the engine run. You have to let every other part of the car
To be
do
functional.
yes, to do its work. You know, so yours is to guide the car. The car is not guiding you; you are guiding the car. So in this case, then the parent, the teenager becomes the driver. The driver, not the parent. The parent is not the driver.
The
The teenager is the driver.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to sit down with this teenager. Mukae chini sasa muulizane now. What do you want with your life? You see? What do you want to do with your life? And then how you have a conversation and you're going to guide that child.
Okay.
So these kids are struggling with self-esteem. That's a cause of identity crisis.
Yeah.
They are struggling with emotional issues. They are also struggling with curiosity. They have a lot of curiosity. They want to test that. They want to try that. They want to try this other thing. So let us first of all get to understand what is happening within them
Yeah.
before we sit down as parents and lecture them.
Yeah.
You know, so when we create enough time to sit down with these kids, understand what is happening to them, we will be able to help them. But most parents are so good at do this, do that, do that. They never concern themselves with asking the child, what do you want?
Yeah.
It is because it is out of what do you want that I'm going to tell you as a parent. Now this one makes sense, this doesn't. Follow this direction because it is going to take you to this destination, or if you follow this, it's going to take you to this destination. And let the child choose.
Wow.
If the child chooses the wrong path, it has nothing to do with you. You have nothing to regret as a parent.
Wow, there's so much to learn and unlearn and relearn in this. And so I think we are going to wind this here, and you know, we come back with the second episode where we shall discuss, because we've seen a parent is a very crucial person in identity crisis of a teenager. So we shall come back and you tell us on how as parents we should handle teenagers, especially when they are going through this you know, identity crisis.
Exactly.
So we are going to leave this here. Our viewers, I hope you've really learned a lot. Please don't go far away. Next episode coming very soon. Thank you.